I made a trip to Europe in 1933, arriving there in May. Adolf Hitler had only been in power for about 4 months then. And having lived through World War I as a child, but very much absorbed by the drama of the war, I'd always felt sorry for the Germans because they were beaten, and life had been very hard for the Germans. And the German friends that I knew were depressed about their own country and angry because they felt that food had been withheld from them, and work was scarce, and life was hard. And so when I got to Germany in 1933 and saw these brown shirts and their trim uniforms, and the people rather jubilant because life in Germany had picked up, I felt rather a sense of sympathy towards this new movement that had come in and given spirit to the German people. And I came back to the United States and went to my first parish in Providence, Rhode Island. And there, as I saw some German refugees coming into Providence, I began to see a different picture. One of them was a notable lecturer at a university who was being expelled from Germany because he had an ancestor who was Felix Mendelssohn Bartholdy, the great composer. And he'd been voted the most popular lecturer at the University of Leipzig. And here he was. He was been cast out from Germany. And I met others who told me stories about the ill treatment the Nazis were given to certain elements, mainly Jewish, of course, in the population. And this was just sickening to hear about. I had another friend who went to a German professor's house and found him rather sympathetic to the Nazis. And my friend was so disturbed by his attitude that he got up from the dinner table, went out and got into his car, and drove out of Germany, vowing never to return to Germany again. And he...
So you heard all this
and I changed my mind about Adolf Hitler completely. And I remember when I went then to a little church in Western Washington, and I found one of the members of my parish, a man who moved to a poor little plot of ground from somewhere in the Middle West. And he had joined a radical group called the White Shirts, which was an effort to create something like Nazism in the United States. And the people who had gotten a hold of him had really seized his mind. He was now very obedient to this whole movement. And so I became an out-and-out supporter of the effort to for America to aid the Allies in their struggle against Germany. especially after war was declared in September of 1939. And when we were hit by the Japanese in Pearl Harbor, I immediately thought that I'd better act on my convictions, and so I made an application to be a chaplain in any of the services. And at first I thought it was going to be the Navy, but it was the Army that finally came through and asked me to join them, so that I did. And I've never regretted my decision one bit, nor changed my mind about the absolute necessity we had in fighting that war. It was beyond any question necessary to eliminate Hitlerism and all that it stood for.